So this is the first Sunday in Advent, which, as you can see from this beautiful paint or coloring done by Canon Martha at our Advent retreat yesterday for the diocese, that it is Hope Sunday. So what about those readings, huh? I mean, do they feel like hope? Dark, right? That's because in our culture, I think sometimes we conflate hope with optimism. See, we have this fantastic skill, and it's so good for resiliency. It's called reframing. We take those things that we're really struggling with, and we say, that's not so bad because, and we can reframe it into all the things that it's teaching us and whatever. And that's all super important for us, because otherwise how else do we get through, right? But the hard part about it is if you start there, it kind of requires that you set aside the pain and the despair and the struggle that goes with all of that darkness. Right? So, this is Advent. What's the kind of hope that we're being asked to have as we go through this, 25-day journey from the beginning to Christmas, starting here? Obviously, they wanted us to start here in the darkness. In the darkness. Well, Matthew Meyer Bolton, one of my favorite online theologians, invites us to an Advent practice that he calls the ancient practice of lament. Now, this isn't anything new. It's actually there in at least half of the Psalms and all over the rest of the Bible. And it kind of goes like this. You start by naming all of the stuff, all of the things, the darkness, the despair, all of the stuff that you see in the world around you or in your own lives that makes it feel like we're stuck in the darkness and God isn't with us and it's overwhelming and just awful. Now, it could be stuff that's of our own making, but it might not be. But all of that is real and it hurts. And we look out there and we see it, and we look in our own lives and we see it. So it's okay to call that stuff out. And we say, come, Lord Jesus, into that. That's where we want Jesus to come. And then, instead of jumping to how we make hope out of those things, we go back to the other places where we've experienced hope through God, where we've seen that God keeps God's promises and God saves, and that God is there, has been there for us. That's where we seed our hope. All that comes before we even think about how we find hope in this new stuff. And then there's one more thing. We get to cry out to God and say, God, come, be here with us in this. Show up, God, and do something again, just like you have before. Now, if we think back to those readings today, they're full of exactly this practice. They say things like, you've hidden your face from us, God. Oh, that you would tear open the heavens. You've been there for us before, God, because you did awesome deeds and made the mountains quake at your presence. Like, don't leave us alone in this, God, because you're our potter. You are our potter. And finally, that amazing refrain that keeps coming back and back and back in today's song. Restore us, O God of hope. Show the light of your countenance, and we shall be saved. In other words, help us fix this, God. That's what Advent hope looks like. It's shining a light and inviting Jesus to come into the very darkest places that we look at around us in the world and in our own lives. So I thought we'd kind of engage in that work today. I have ribbon and I have a Sharpie. And I thought that we could name all of the things that we see in the world around us that are causing us to lament and despair, all of the darkness. And we'd list that. You can see 8 o'clockers. See the longer of the 2 ribbons? That's the lament from 8 o'clock. So call it all out. What are the things that we want to say, come, Lord Jesus, come to? What's going on around us that feels just dark and overwhelming and that we just lament?
Disabled senior citizens on our AFC group.
The government.
All right, hold on, I gotta slow down because I gotta write them down. Okay, climate change. Okay, the senior citizens at AFC. Okay, Katie. Okay, let's just call that
The government.
government.
Yeah. Come on, Jesus.
Come on, Jesus. All right, Susan.
Anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim feeling.
Anti-Semitism and anti-Muslim. Okay.
Homes for the unhoused.
Okay, go ahead, Donna. Lack of housing.
Food insecurity.
Okay, so yeah, right behind Donna, go ahead.
Greed.
Grief.
Greed.
Oh, greed.
Just write capitalism.
All right, and then can I put grief in there? Because I think that's a big one too.
Yeah, it's good too.
Okay, Katie? You have one.
Food insecurity.
Food insecurity. I'm going to shorten that to hunger. Is that all right?
Hunger.
You know, I'm not often here on Thursday nights, but I was here this last Thursday sitting in my office doing stuff, and I look out my window and there are like a dozen children out there climbing our tree and waiting while their parents get food. And you know what? That breaks my heart. That there's families with little kids that have to come line up because they don't have enough to eat. So, and it also gives me a little hope that there's somewhere that can feed them, like us. But why, right? Come, Lord Jesus. Fix this. How are we doing for our ribbon here? What other things are we lamenting? Nancy. War. Oh my goodness, yes, so much. I'm underlining that. Just Sue.
I was going to say war.
You were going to say war also. Okay. Okay, we have one on the screen. Go ahead.
Homelessness.
Homelessness. Thank you, Doreen. Is there anyone else online? Because I don't want you guys to get left out.
Racism.
Okay, racism. Trish?
Cancer.
Cancer. Okay, Donna, and then
Captivity.
captivity?
Yeah.
Okay. Jane?
Cruelty.
Cruelty. Yeah. We see that, don't we? Especially when we open the news. Trish.
Consumerism.
Consumerism.
No.
Okay.
Apathy. Pornography. Illegal.
All right.
Irresponsible dog breeders.
I'm sorry?
Irresponsible dog breeders that make puppies that have problems.
Okay, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do cruelty
Cruelty to animals.
to humans and animals. How's that?
Yeah, perfect.
All right, I'm getting, okay,
And cruelty to humans.
yes, that's right here.
Human and animals.
Humans and animals.
Trafficking, human trafficking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
trafficking. Okay.
And rape
All right.
and child molestation.
Okay. Oh.
Isms.
Yes.
I agree.
Okay.
Economic slavery.
And the isms are.
All right. I'm
really depressed.
I'm gonna get these last two. So
Economic slavery.
economic slavery and then isms. And then isms. And I've got ... I think that's,
That's a good amount.
there's so much more, but there's a lot here.
Get those all the days,
All right. So there we go. This is our limit today. This is where we're saying, come, Lord Jesus, come, right? All right. Now, name some ways that God has shown up in the midst of the darkness in the past. Ways that you've experienced hope. It can be personal, it can be bigger than that. Anything that can go there?
Love.
Yes, we see love happening around us a lot, despite all that.
You know, the caring of community.
I like that. The caring of community. Anna?
Healing.
Healing.
My high school motto was do right.
People who choose to do right, despite all that.
Getting right when no one's looking.
Exactly.
And no one is looking.
The Capitola police finding the person that murdered my friend.
Oh, okay. Shall we call that justice? Yeah. In the purest sense. All right. Sorry about that. I'm glad they found him. Yeah.
Her.
Her. Oh, okay. Tina?
Mercy, like my case is, my landlord has barely raised my rent in 11 years.
Oh,
So I'm
mercy.
grateful for that. I'm grateful for God's
Yeah.
mercy moving through my landlord.
Gratefulness.
Yeah.
Their gratitude. Gratitude, yeah.
Doreen's back.
Doreen, go ahead.
Well, I'm not with you in person, but Pip's Pantry and the fact that we serve the homeless and provide shelter.
Wonderful, thank you. Pip's Pantry and AFC.
Showing up.
Showing up. Oh, that is so huge. Makes all the difference in the world, doesn't it? And it reminds us that God shows up. Go ahead.
Freedom to worship.
Yeah.
Babies.
Babies. All right. Shall we stop there? Oh, one more. Go ahead, Donna. Last one.
Freedom to protest, human rights. Yeah, we have freedoms here.
Human rights.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Was only enforced.
Yeah. All right. So here's how this works. This overlays that. See how we did it at 8? We'll do it the same way here. Because God showed up before. And God is with us. Even though it feels like maybe God isn't with us and all this stuff, God's already there. And the message of Advent is there is hope. That's right. Coming into the darkest and most desperate of places, because we can say, "Come, Lord Jesus, come." And that's exactly what God will do, right? So I want to invite us in to this type of hope by closing with us just singing that first verse of O Come, Emmanuel" again. And I think we can do it just a cappella. O come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel, that mourns in lonely exile here until